Hey friends, today I've got a really special guest that I want to introduce you to. We're diving into some different ways to engage and educate students moving forward. And this gentleman has built a program, figured it out. So if you're an educator trying to create new opportunities in your district or in your organizations, he's got some great advice, but I'm not going to steal his thunder. So you got to wait to listen to the rest of the episode. We'll see you on the other side of the intro. All right, friends, I have a great guest with us today. Tom Still is the head of the Wisconsin Tech Council, and they do a lot of awesome things here in my home state of Wisconsin. And I wanted to bring him on because he's got a very special competition coming up right now and happening. And I think it impacts all of you out there. And if you can't touch it, you should try and find opportunities like this in your area because it's phenomenal. And I don't want to steal his thunder, but I'm going to introduce Tom. Tom, thanks for coming on today. You know what? They don't really know who you are. I gave you a short introduction.
Sure.
Tell us who you are and what do you do?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me here, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about our Wisconsin Yes Contest. So I'm president of what's called the Wisconsin Technology Council, and I know you've got people around the country, so there may be similar groups, sometimes with the exact same name in other states or locales. You know, if you're in Arizona, there's an Arizona Tech Council. If you're in Utah, there's a Utah Tech Council. And so what we are at its heart is a trade association for different tech groups, investors, entrepreneurs, and others who kind of want to band around and associate around the sector. What do we do is pretty eclectic, actually, but a lot of it is around communications. And we spend a lot of time talking about what the opportunities are in Wisconsin, trying to connect people in Wisconsin with one another. You know, in particular, early stage investors and entrepreneurs, people who are starting companies and may need angel and venture capital. We put on a variety of events, 3 major conferences a year, a ton of webinars and other live events back when we could do live events. And then another big function is public policy, because we were originally created, and we've been around since 2001, to be a policy advisor on science and tech for the governor and the legislature. And that's a function we continue to serve today. We try to put good ideas in front of both of those 2 branches of government, Democrat, Republican. You know, we're very bipartisan, so we want to make sure we get those out to people and try to work with them as they move the ball on policy, because, you know, for Wisconsin is not unlike a lot of other states. It really needs to have a vibrant tech-based economy with all kinds of entrants. And so that's a big part of what we do. So we've got the event and networking side, the general communication side, and that policy side. Now, me in particular, you know, I like to think of myself as playing a technologist on podcasts like this or something else. But at the end of the day, my background was largely in communications. I was in journalism for a number of years and was an editor with a paper here in Wisconsin. But as a part of that, we were creating different programs. Different things that I later came to know were called intrapreneurial versus entrepreneurial, and it was a lot of fun, and some of them involved technology, and so I the old story about the plumber who would go home and paint paintings and decided he really wanted to be a painter. Well, I guess that was me. You know, I just decided that there was something else that I could do and hopefully do well. And the beauty of it is we've got such a great board of directors. It's a big board for anybody who's used to working with boards of directors, like 54 people. But they come from all walks of life: academia, research, investing, tech companies large and small, people who are in the service sector who work with those tech companies. So our footprint is pretty big that way in terms of what we deal with. And they're just such great advisors. I don't have to be the tech expert on everything, and I'm not. And so, but they typically are. I mean, at least somebody in that group is going to be that expert. So that's a little bit about us, an overview, and some about me.
That's awesome. So you've been there since the inception of this organization, right?
Almost.
Almost.
I came along about a year into it.
Okay.
And it was really a total startup even then. I mean, there was an acting president of the group who would let it be known, okay, I'm here to help set it up, but then I'm going to go about my other business. And so, yeah, then I popped out of the box and have been there ever since. And, we feel good about the progress overall. So, yeah.
Yeah, you guys have grown. So it's interesting because we work with a lot of innovative educators who are trying to get programs up and running inside of structure, right? Or as like in addition to structure. So I'm curious if you have any bits of wisdom or tidbits for those individuals who are listening who are like, hey, I want to do something, right? They're the plumber, right? Really, in this case, they're the teacher, but they want to do something really cool at their school that they think, or they're in their district or in their nonprofit education organization, and they got to navigate the structure. So what's maybe some words of encouragement or help or something along those lines that you could offer them as a little bit of wisdom, since you had to figure it out, right? And it's not just the district. You managed going through a whole big, state government. So that's no easy task.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, in this case with Wisconsin Yes, which is the name of our youth business plan contest, by the way, that stands for Young Entrepreneurs in Science. So that's why the Yes acronym. That grew out of an earlier project that we initiated, 17 years ago. It was called the Wisconsin Governor's Business Plan Contest. And that is alive and well today. So we had a template around that where we were encouraging entries from entrepreneurs around the state to talk about their business plans, first in a 250-word version, then 1,000 words, then a full business plan. And later we added the live presentations with people who would speak to the judges and bigger audiences. And that worked well and continues to work well. It had great results in producing companies, making sure that there were good ideas that came forth. And over time, we've had 4,200 entries in that, I think, statewide. Then we began to think, okay, entrepreneurism with young people needed to be really talked about more and facilitated more and encouraged more. So we thought, okay, let's think about this for kids who, and we had, various educators on the board, who have taught one way or the other over time. In fact, I even taught, a course at the UW-Madison, older students, of course, but at least I had some knowledge about it. And so they were saying, there's not probably enough that goes on in all of the schools to encourage this kind of thinking. And it's not that they're opposed, it's just maybe it's just not there. So we started with basically a pilot project in Dane County, which is the county where Madison is located. And it was close to home, close to our offices. And it made sense to try it out for a couple of years that way. Well, we liked the results. We liked that kids were, encouraged to enter. They started out with a plan and then grew it. Now what we did do with the kids in this, when I say kids, I mean middle school and high school. And so there were different categories, different age groups. What we did was not require them to write a full business plan, but to start with the 250-word version, and then the next phase would be the 1,000-word version. So it was much more manageable for them. Mm-hmm. Also more manageable for the teachers themselves, I think, who could, help monitor this and weigh in where they could with the kids. Although we always encourage that these entries from the young people are indeed their ideas and their work.
Right. Yep.
And so that's that's a very important part, right? So I think it was in this case, if I could think of advice, maybe start small with a pilot, and then try to grow it out as you have some good experience and good people who can help. And so we discovered over time that as we reached out, the biggest issue was reaching people who might provide some kind of assistance in the schools, or maybe make it known to their students. And we had set up a pretty good communication system with press and others that we could get this out. And lo and behold, enough young people would enter. And we, again, a lesson from the business plan contest was to have good judges who volunteered their time to go through these. And we have a much more elaborate process with the governor's business plan contest because of the sheer number of entries and the number of times that each one of these plans should be reviewed and scored. But same basic thing for this. And so I guess it's, building on experience that you might already have, making sure you're communicating why to do it and what the benefits are. And we just went from there. So we're excited that it's back again this year. And we built some good sponsors around it, people who could help provide a little bit of prize money or other, what I would call in-kind prizes. The judges are really excited about it most years, so it's all good. So
awesome. So tell us what does the whole program entail? If you could boil it down to like a 2 to 3 minute description, what is it? How do kids get involved? Where do they go? All that good stuff.
Sure. Well, the way they get involved is essentially by entering online. And by the way, it's all online, which in a pandemic year is that much better, right?
Yeah.
And so what they do is submit their idea online, and it's just wisconsonyes.com. And their deadline for the phase 1 entry, which is only 250 words, is April 14th at 5:00. And then if they are selected to move on, they would write the roughly 1,000-word entry, which is due May 10th at 5:00, also online. They would start by setting up an account so it identifies them, and they make sure that account is, that way it's secured. They've got their own password. We've been lucky to have good website, and I encourage people to look at it, especially those who might be considering something like this in their own locales.
Yeah.
And
or if they're participating, you've got a bunch of resources on there. I know if you guys are on the website and you dive into it, you go to wisconsonyes.com and go up into the menu. Tom, you've put together some great resources that I think most students or teachers, or even, I'll be honest, like the entrepreneurs out there, because entrepreneurs are lifelong learners, right? And lifelong teachers. The resources that you guys have put together are incredible. Yeah. So it's one of those things that even if you don't participate this year, worthwhile diving in.
Indeed. I mean, some of the resources are right, at our own fingertips with the Tech Council. For example, our Entrepreneurs Toolkit has been something we've built over time. Our Innovation Network has a lot of ideas, and our Tech Council Investor Networks, again, for older entrepreneurs, adult entrepreneurs, there you can see things about all the different investment networks and funds in the state of Wisconsin. So that's all a part of the resources. We've got different templates. We have here in Wisconsin, we have the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, which does all kinds of things to help with entrepreneurs. We have the Center for Technology Commercialization. They are really good about diving into federal small business innovation research grants. We have a link into Teachers Try Science, which is a good site. We have other sort of higher education related sites. the Wisconsin Business World Academic Program, just on and on. Dane County School Consortium, the First Tech Challenge, DECA. So, all groups that are out there trying to do the same thing, which is mentor young people, educate young people, and give them some experience and some real world kind of pieces. So, yeah, those resources are important, and they're often the kinds of folks who will refer students to the contest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we went through the resources. Tell us, all right, you and I probably know inherently what entrepreneurism and teaching entrepreneurism does for people or students as they grow up, regardless if they end up becoming a business owner or an entrepreneur. But maybe in your own words, you can describe like this process and what it teaches individuals, young and old, that will help them wherever they end up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. With yes, I think it is. The first thing it does, I think, is teaches some organization about how to transfer their thoughts about what might be a very specific idea into words. And I think every teacher in every subject likes that, right? I mean, it's the kind of
no kidding.
They're trying to drill down and really kind of foster. So that's good. I think it also, because there's a limit on the number of words in each stage, it teaches them to be very careful about how they select those words and to be very careful in the style in which they write. Judges will react sometimes negatively if there are typos or misspellings or grammatically incorrect sentences. So at the very top, at a minimum, it's a writing contest. I mean, it's shaped around an idea, but it's a writing contest. So then from there, I think another thing that's really important that it teaches is for students to not think that, oh, this is a dumb idea. Everybody's already doing this, whatever. It's not true. I've seen some remarkably, kind of creative ideas come out of this with kids over time, and they should just be encouraged to pursue it, right? And then finally, what it does is connect ideas with the notion of starting a business. How is this going to be a real life business? How would it make money? How would it do all the kinds of things that entrepreneurs of any age need to do? And so I think that's a big takeaway for a lot of them. They might have what looks like a good idea and it's really kind of fun and good science and everything else, but how does it make money? And so it kind of forces them to do that. Now, sometimes you get money, ideas that will make money, but are also kind of, what I would call socially, responsible ideas. They have, things they think can help the community, the planet, other people, whatever it is. And that's great. I mean, that's encouraged. But, I often joke that even if somebody is saying, well, I would like this to be a nonprofit company. Okay. Well, nonprofit's a tax status, not a goal. Even a nonprofit company has to make money, keep the lights on, pay the bills, keep staff there and everything else, right? And so all types of ideas are encouraged. So I think those are three main things. I think it's just the initial notion of organizing, being a tight, crisp writer, and then pursuing an idea in a way that it really adds meat to it and could help build a real business and help make money.
Mm-hmm. I can attest to the writing piece specifically with helping some startups go through the governor's business plan. But as a kid, I wish I had learned how to write concisely with clarity, right? I think that's so hard for students to learn. And I think that was one of the biggest things that when going through this, looking at this, having spoken to some of the previous participants, that's something that continuously comes out of it. Is they're like, I actually had to learn how to boil what I wanted to do, the impact, and how I was going to do it in a short time period.
Yes.
Because especially in this day and age, when you think about all the distractions and incoming noise and stuff, if you can't do that, people are going to ignore you because people's attention spans are so quick and they move on to the next thing very quickly. So like that alone, for if you have students who are struggling with this is just a great exercise just in working on that, because typically the kids who struggle with that have so many ideas flying through their head that they can't get it written down and add clarity to it. So if you're listening to this and you're in Wisconsin, if you don't do this, well, that's your choice, but I would recommend that you then tell parents, and especially if you're a homeschool parent and you're looking for activities right now, this is a phenomenal activity.
Yes, I am so
Go
glad.
ahead. Yeah.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that's precisely right. Yeah, this contest is open to, kids in public schools, private schools, home schools. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter. And in this pandemic age, more kids, unfortunately have been mostly, just kind of online is how how they've been educated for a good part of this year. And so this is, fortunately, all of our apparatus for that was already in place. And so it's a great project. And also,
can kids do it as teams?
Yes, absolutely. And we have seen teams in the contest before, and teams that have won. There was a team of 3 out of Brookfield, Wisconsin, who won a couple of years ago. There was a team of actually twin sisters out of La Crosse who won a few years ago. So the team approach is really good, because guess what? You get the power of 2 or more heads versus 1.
Yep.
You can.
And you learn some other skills too, right? Because now you got to compromise, because you both have different ideas. So like, this is friends, if you're listening, like this is why I wanted to have Tom on, because what Tom's put together teaches so many skills that apply even if you don't become a business owner, from communication to teamwork to clarifying ideas and actually writing things down. Like, it's such a powerful, and I'm going to use the word exercise, but it's more than that, because once a student or a kid does this once, they're going to get better at it the next time and the next time and the next time and the next time. And kids can apply more than once, right? Just because they didn't make it in 1 year, they can do it again the next year.
Absolutely. And, they might start in middle school, and and for the Wisconsin definition, that's usually 6, 7, and 8. Some places have junior high, but, more or less the same thing. But then, through high school, and they just keep working on it. And the team aspect is really excellent, because of, like you say, there's going to be give and take. There's going to be communication within a team. There's going to be the notion of partnership. And if you think about it, entrepreneurs are rarely go-it-alone people. They have to build some kind of team around them. They might.
It's really hard.
Right. They might be the idea person, but somebody else might be the good financial person. Somebody else might be the good salesperson. And so that's kind of baked into this process as well. But yeah, teams are encouraged. And with spring break happening in some locations around the state, I mean,
you're not traveling. Most of you aren't traveling.
Most are not.
Great activity.
Yeah, and the deadline is past what would be, the typical spring break weeks for many school districts, because it's 5 o'clock April 14th. So there's a chance to build it into the class, whether it's in person or online or a combination, a little bit past the break too. So good opportunities to get involved, that's for sure.
So I want to be conscious of your time, Tom, because I know you said you had to move on to something else, but I just wanted to give one last shout out. Go to wisconsonyes.com if you want to find out more information. I know you guys also have an email there if there are questions where people can contact you. I believe it's info@wisconsonyes.com. Tell me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Right on that, on our accounts. And Julie Johnson is our team member who's directly in charge of administering the contest as we go along. And it's funny. I think this may be in closing, thinking about this, and with bee pods. We had a young man who won this contest. I believe it was 2014. Jonah Thompson from New Glarus, Wisconsin, and it was with a beekeeper plan, and so that was really interesting and unique. And I remember he wore his beekeeper pod, hat, and I'm not
the
sure.
veil. Yep, the veil. He wore the veil into the presentation. I was at that year.
That's right.
Yeah, watching it.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that was
awesome.
It was really fun. It was really fun. And he's by the way in college now and doing extremely well. And by the way, we've had winners from all over Wisconsin. They've been Milwaukee area, kind of western Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, small towns, larger towns, and so it's been really diverse that way.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Tom. I appreciate you coming on, sharing the story a little bit with us, and then. Hey, at some point in the future, I'd be really excited to have you on again to talk a little bit more about some of the other programs that I know you support in education specifically for this audience. Because I know you're a huge advocate because right now, like most places, your big job is to try and create results around training technical acumen into the next generation of the workforce. So I would be really excited to have you on at some point in the future if you're game.
I'd love to come back. That's, a little bit kind of ingrained in our policy mission, as you and I discussed earlier. And this contest, Wisconsin Yes, is a kind of a very public and visible part of it. But underneath that is that whole notion of training the next generation of workers, whether they be tech workers or something else. But as you know, and I think Wisconsin's not alone, every state needs the right workforce, and so that's part of what we strive for.
Well, great. Well, thanks for coming on, Tom. I appreciate you.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, and best to your audience, and feel free to have. I hope they can check out WisconsinYes.com. They will. Hey, visitors and listeners, if you're listening to this, go check out WisconsinYes.com. Take a look at it. If you have questions, email them, contact them. If you have questions, you can email me. I can explain to you and share with some of the details about the program too. But thank you for listening. If you liked it, take a screenshot, share it with your friends, give us some comments, and we look forward to having you on the next episode. Take care, friends. Thank you, Brad. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.